Well, I guess it's mangrove.
I think it's mangrove.
It's mangrove. It's mangrove because I guess you catch them around the mangroves.
Yeah.
But through the years, it probably morphed itself into mango snapper because it was shorter and easier. I don't know that I've ever caught a snapper fishing under or around a mango tree. It's possible, but I think mangrove, but you'll excuse me if I call them mango. I've been calling that for a long time. Let's go back and do a little snook fishing with Captain Rick. All right.
Real little.
That's okay. We like them. We like that. Let's take a look. This is good. Where we're at, middle of nowhere. That's about the size of mine.
Yeah.
That's a good juvenile class.
Yeah, we want to see those, that's for sure.
We'll come back here. Next year it'll be twice as big.
That's right. I'm very thankful for these fish, you know.
Oh, no,
you can see some.
Okay, I'm going fishing. You talk to Wes, I'm going fishing.
But yeah, very thankful to see these fish, you know, post-freeze fish. So, you know, and it's not like, you're not really putting a lot of hurt on these, catching these little ones. And it's not like putting pressure on the breeders or anything. Oh, there he goes.
This guy was laying right on the bank, Rick. I mean, right on the bank. And right as he hit my bait, you could see all these glass minnows, tiny, tiny glass minnows shower. And that obviously is what he's feeding on, he or she, I can't tell. We were talking about being a year class. That might be 6-month class. That's cool though. Look how little that thing is. That is really neat. That stripe is just as bright and perfectly lined. Thanks for the fun, little fella. See you later. That's cool. Right on the bank too.
These better one here.
Whoa, is that you?
Yeah.
That's a little better fish there.
A little bit better, yeah.
Big bait, big fish theory.
That's it. They're greedy, you know, they're greedy. There he goes.
Oh yeah, doubleheader, Wes. They are laying right there because every time that bait gets in there, they are on it, buddy. They are on it.
There you go.
That's 2 right there in 2 casts.
Pretty, and you know, Bill, like I was telling you, you see how they're not brown? They're still pretty silver, so, you know, that means they got a good amount of salt water they've been going through. When they've been in here for a long time, they'll get brown, like how this water is. I gotta watch it a little bit here because of the eddy. It'll spin me right up in there. But very thankful for the snook. And after the brutal freeze, I'm happy to see these fish. Let this guy go. Smallest one ever.
Yeah, but you know what? It didn't take him 5 seconds. I'm counting that one. I'm counting the last one. Because I mean, I had him right here next to the boat just so we could see him. That way I don't have to touch them, see, when I could just get them released out there 10, 15 feet away from the boat.
Hey, I think this is pretty good August fishing, you know.
It's just doubleheader every cast, Rick.
Yeah, we went and caught some trout yesterday. I mean, the trout are still biting, but snook make it fun.
Doubleheader every cast on these river snook, way up in the river. But this is summer, the heat of summer.
Yeah, if you see that when I throw that chum in there, they still going on it over there.
It bled for right there. Welcome back to Hooked On Fishing. Captain Rick Reddick is joining me, and I just mentioned during the right there at the end of that segment when I tossed that snook back in, you saw me look down at my thumb. Even those little tiny snook like that will cut you. That cut me and bled for 2 days, and with those little side gill plates that he's got. After our trip, I sent an email to Ron Taylor. You're going to hear from Ron later on in the show, chief snook biologist over here at the FWC. And I told him about the fish and what we did. And Ron sent me back an email that said, Bill, those fish are 12 to 16 months old. He said they were spawned last May or August from the 210 stock, and they were of the adults that survived the freeze of January 2010. So Rick, that means that slowly, well, we really don't know how fast they are, but they're regenerating, replenishing themselves.
Yeah, that's really a good thing to see. You know, Florida's snook fishery is a special thing, and
Yeah.
very thankful to see Mother Nature working herself out there.
Hopefully it'll come back strong. Well, if you want to know how to catch snook, you want to know how to catch tarpon, want to know how to catch mangrove snapper, then you need to pick up the saltwater angler. There's Paul Arcos right there with a really nice mangrove snapper. But look what he says. He says mango. Mango madness. We all say mango. But whatever you say, snapper are due any day now. This is really maybe a little, we should have plenty of mangrove snapper. If you want to know where to catch them and how to catch them, then you need to pick up the Saltwater Angler. It's written for fishermen by fishermen, and they'll tell you everything you need to know about fishing around this area, the Gulf of Mexico, and all over the world. Welcome to this week's Captain's Corner. There's a few Spanish mackerel around. Actually, there's more than a few around. The thing about the early Spanish mackerel, though, is they're here today and gone tomorrow. But it won't be long before the big bunches of Spanish mackerel will migrate right down here to us, and they will be here for a good while, and you can target them when they get somewhere, like some of the local reefs or out in the Egmont Ship Channel. They'll probably be there for 3 or 4 or 5 days or longer, depending on the weather. I want to show you the rig that I use when I'm using live bait fishing for Spanish mackerel. And here it is. This is a J-hook. This is a 1/0 J-hook. And I've got about 8 to 10 inches of number 4 brown stainless coffee colored, brown colored stainless single strand wire with a very small black swivel. I'll tie these up way in advance, and I keep them in a Ziploc bag like this, and I have the bag, wrote on the bag what size hook it is. There's a 1/0 hook on there. And I'll tie these up using a haywire twist. Now I know some of you say, well, doing this wire thing is kind of hard to do, but if you look online, if you look up the haywire twist, there's very good explanations and videos on there about how to use the haywire twist. And once you get used to using the wire, you'll find out that it can be a very valuable arsenal in your tackle box. Now, when I'm using live bait, I can either anchor on the reefs or I'll slow troll the reefs using the white bait or the greenbacks, and I'll hook them right through the nose. Hook them right through the nose and troll them or drift as slow as I possibly can. I always start with wire because the Spanish mackerel have sharp teeth. I will fish with wire until the mackerel tell me by not giving me the bites I think I ought to have, it's time to switch over. Then I'll switch to a long shanked hook. This is a long shanked hook, and the shank is the part of the hook from the eye to the bend. If I put these two hooks up side by side, let me get them up here, you will see the difference in the shank. My thumb is on the shank of this hook, and it's about half the size of the long shanked hook. The idea of the long shanked hook is you could use monofilament. And when I'm fishing for Spanish mackerel, I would use at least 30-pound monofilament, maybe 40, maybe 50, depending on how bad they're biting me off. And the length of this hook, in theory, will keep the mackerel from coming by like they do with a short shank hook, biting your line and cutting it off. So the long shanked hook gives you some protection from their teeth. And for most folks, if you're using a spinning rod and you tie on your leader, it's a little bit easier to use the monofilament than the wire. But if you get used to using that wire, you'll find you catch more fish and have a lot less cutoffs. We're going back to the Manatee River with Captain Rick Reddick and see how they're biting. Whoa, come back here. All right. God. I threw my bait up on the bank and just rolled it back out. and got it going down that shoreline in this current. It's a reverse current here. There's an eddy. And the current is really going left to right, but here it turns around and goes right to left. Those fish are laying right there. Silver too, like Rick said, they should be really gold, but they're silver, which means, I'm guessing they've come in from the clear water. Baits, it looks like. He's after it, trying. Trying.
That bait's just got to be making that snook mad.
Trying. Look at that thing. That's cool as it can be. Oh. This is really cool. I haven't seen many snook this small. You know, you don't see the ones you see in aquariums and stuff, but I've never actually had a chance to fish for them and catch them. And we use baits that are that long or longer. That is really neat. They're liking those little minnows too. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? That is the snooklet there. I mean, we could just fry that thing whole and put him in a hot dog bun. But certainly we're not going to do that. All right, buddy. I wasn't sure that fish was on, but the line, instead of drifting, just stopped. I didn't feel anything.
There's another little one.
All
About
right,
the same
Rick.
size as that one.
Way to go.
All right. It's a bent rod in August.
Yes, sir.
And it's snook.
And it's different.
Yep.
It's different. I like that.
Now this means we got some good years coming. You know, if Mother Nature gives us a normal winter.
Hey, good one. Well, I'm in the strike zone now. I got one too.
I got you.
No, I got one. Look at this.
There you go.
Now this is a double header. Look at that. Mine's bigger. Oh, I think yours is bigger. Now that's cool as it can be.
Yeah, it is great.
Scientists will be happy of this.
It is
Bill's
great.
happy of this. Rick's happy of this.
Oh, yeah.
Shoot, let's keep doing this.
To, cane pole on the old phosphate docks.
Hey, Kane pulled him. Look at this. I never cast the line, just the length of my rod. The reason I knew that, I was talking to Rick, and I got a bite. And I said, well, let me put it back down there. I just cane pulled that rascal. Right in behind that stump. This little snook right here, he just spit out 2 of our baits. 2 of our baits.
Greedy.
He's laying right in the eddy behind that little stump over there. I'm having so much fun doing this. Look at that underwater shot. Wes was under the water with his camera swimming around with all the alligators and got that shot of the snook for us. You mentioned earlier, Rick, about and we were talking about the bass techniques and about flipping, and when bass flipping, they're just flipping right there. And there was a couple of times where we were just flipping 6 feet from the boat.
Yeah, and you can see some, and there was actually I think once or twice where you could see the snook come up to the boat, and that's a little bit new for me, is to see the snook come up. I mean, you're used to a trout coming right up to the boat, but that might have something to do with the water being a little bit darker too. But I think you were also saying about the eddies that'll help them come right up to the boat.
Yeah, there's something that at times we've seen on the flats normally, where if you're anchored and you've got a pretty good tide running across the flats, there'll be an eddy behind your boat.